you're shooting a documentary for the first time, this video is for you. I just had my documentary, Brims of Tradition, make its festival debut, Greenpoint Film Festival. Amazing festival, had a blast. In this video, I'm just going to kind of share my thoughts about before and after the festival. I'm going to talk about what I learned. If any of that interested, stay through with this. But before I get there, I want to talk about this filmmaker meetup I did. I helped co-host a Moorfield meetup. My good buddy David Moorfield, he hosts these around the country. We've become friends through YouTube. I saw he was doing it. I thought it was a great idea, and I hit him up. I'm like, yo, dude, we should do one in New York, and we finally did it. And I gotta say, it was the best networking event I've ever been to. I've been to ones, where it's like, you're at a bar with filmmakers. That's not really where real discussion happens, right? Like, I'm gonna gravitate towards my friends that I already know, which is fine. It's fun, like hanging out after hours with your work buddies is important, and you should do that. But if you want to do, real networking, real value, I think this was the move. There's about 30 of us there. It was just like, the room was filled with just some really genuine, good conversation, filmmaking, business, life. Everyone, it was a good mixture of skill levels, types of work everyone's doing. Shout out ASL Productions for letting us use their studio. It was such a success. Once again, David, thank you so much for coming through. I'm happy I got to help. It was a blast. I'm stoked we're buddies now. I want to continue the event, so I'm going to do another one in New York City. I mean, I'd love to set it up for late September, early October. We'll see what my schedule aligns for. I think a rental house would be a great idea. Just throwing that out there. So if that interests you, leave a comment, follow the channel, check me out on Instagram. I'll have updates on one of those. On a side note, the ball's rolling. I want to do one out on Long Island. Long Island's where I grew up. I have an office space I could host at. So if and I already could think of 10 people right off the bat I want there. So I want to support the Long Island community. Maybe I'll also do one in New Jersey. I don't know. So just let me know what you're thinking. I think, and what I've learned in this profession, your network is your net worth. I don't know where I heard it. You could Google it, but it's all about connections. It's all about who you know. I mean, my business is on autopilot right now based on referrals and repeat business. So the bigger your network, the bigger your chances are of getting hired and making money. So that's what these meetups are all about. And they're fun. So anyways, I hope you enjoy this video. I learned a lot, shooting my first doc. Well, I would say like directing I've been on doc shoots, but this was I'm calling it my directorial debut, right? Where I wore a few too many hats, but it was a great learning experience. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoy. Peace. All right, tonight my documentary is screening at the Greenpoint Film Festival. I've been meaning to make this video talking about my directorial debut, and I kind of figured maybe I'll do a little vlog today, kind of before I set out for the festival, and just kind of, say what I'm feeling, talk about my experiences before I get the experience of the festival. Today I'm filming on the DJI Action super wide angle, so it might look a little weird, but yeah, so I learned a lot in the process of making this film. We started production January 2022, had our key interview, started filming some hat making, and then probably had like 6 or 7 half days all over Brooklyn. It was really dope. How I got this film kind of started was I met Rich, who's the main character of our film. He's a milliner or a hat maker. Makes these awesome bespoke cowboy-style hats, fedora-style hats, all that. And then I was out at where was I? I was out at the Woods. Yeah, maybe like 3 years ago, if you know, it's like a club in Brooklyn. I see a couple of my friends talking to this guy with like this really cool hat. And I stumbled across and I went, yo, that's a sick hat, man. Where'd you get it? And he's like, oh, I made it. And I'm like, what? And then he told me the whole entire story of how he got into it. My jaw was like dropped. I was like, holy crap. we got to make a film. And this was at a time where, I was trying to find a passion project at that time, and this all just kind of fell in my lap. We met up for coffee, figured out some questions and what we needed to do, and now 3 years later, we made the thing, and we're going to the Greenpoint Film Festival tonight. So in my film, I was, and the official credit is director, but since I'm talking to you guys, I directed it, produced it, I was the DP. Also, side note, love to organize. DP, all the different things. Obviously, I had a team together. That was a very daunting. I also did sound. That was the biggest one. So my biggest takeaway, and so this was a fully a passion project. I had no budget or anything. My biggest takeaway, though, was hire a sound mixer. So next time I do a documentary, I am going to save some money up, crowdfund, get a sponsor, have a brand to back it, whatever. But there needs to be money for a sound mixer. Sound is absolutely the most important thing. Doing camera, directing, and sound at the same time was wild. I don't recommend it, but I did it. I'm proud that I did it, and we still made a badass film that I'm proud of. But so yeah, that's my first lesson learned is I absolutely need a sound mixer, and it's gonna be the very first person that I hire next time. I feel like I did a good amount of planning, know what I wanted. There's nothing I would actually really change. I also made the decision to shoot all on vintage lenses, Carl Zeiss Yona lenses. I've made several videos about those. They're very nice, they have great character, close focus distance. I thought the lenses lent themselves well to what I was trying to do. Manually pulling focus with like a little focus wheel, I don't recommend that either. For a sit-down interview, it's fine, and like for some B-roll, it's cool, but not if you're also doing sound. The decision to use those lenses, I think, was absolutely correct, for sure. But, it was difficult. I definitely, for doc, zoom lenses all day. Unless you're going for very specific stylized shots, it just that's the move. Also felt like I leaned more into my wider shots. It's just something about wide lenses that just feels so immersive that I really feel like I gravitate towards. I love organizing this stuff. It's so much fun. This literally makes my day. We also had a really big screening. Or wasn't a screening, it was a showing. Don't tell the festivals. We did a private party. It was at Bobby's all night or night out in Alphabet City. Dude, it was so much fun between my crew, my friends, my family, Rich's friends and family. We had like 100 people there. It was one of the most special nights I've ever had, and I've never had people watch my film with me, and seeing people laugh, seeing people get emotional, all the different emotions, and seeing it in real time was crazy. It was like, damn, we made that out of thin air. That's what it's all about, making films that make people feel something.
But I never thought about making them. But like being back in New York, what I always told. Hey, Duman, come over here, bro.
Adam, Dubin, Clay, Eli, Eric, Dorian, Jake. I want to thank all you guys. This was super awesome. I really appreciate the support. Rich made it really easy. He's, when you make a documentary, you want to have someone that's obsessed about something, that is truly breathes the thing that they do, and that's Rich. And he's a quote machine, as you saw there. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, so if you've made it this far in the video, that means you're getting value out of this, and that makes me happy. So I was thinking I kind of want to start doing consultation calls. I feel like I have, about 10 years of experience working as a freelancer, production company. I've shot all kinds of stuff. And, if you want to chit-chat more about business, filmmaking, cameras, Sony stuff, what gear to buy, recommendations, help with editing, whatever it might be, I want to offer that, a 1-hour session. I tried to plug it before, about a year ago, or whenever it was, and I realized I have no proof of concept. So for one of my subscribers here, I want to offer a free consultation call. The idea is this could kind of become a proof of concept. Hopefully you get value out of it. I know I will get value out of it because I just, love talking about this stuff. So do me a favor, if this interests you at all, comment down below. Let me know what you'd like to talk about. and then follow me on Instagram at John Waldman and just DM me consultation call. So then I could figure it out, because y'all don't have to like put your emails or anything on my YouTube channel. So do those two things, and I'll pick a random person, or actually maybe, you know what I'll do is whatever question I think is the best, or thing that I think I want to talk about for an hour, we'll do it. And if you guys don't mind, I might record the session, I'll cut it up or whatever, but then I could show you guys on the channel, so then you can see what kind of value comes from the meeting. So if you're interested at all, a free 1 hour consultation, leave a comment below. Let me know. All right, no mic right now and spooky lighting. Today's the day. About to go to the festival. Right now I am packing up for a big time shoot. Probably my biggest shoot I've ever had for my production company. It's a little messy in here, but just getting some things together. Sound, camera, lights, condensing some things. Gotta get everything packed. I'm trying to keep everything to its own Pelican. But yeah, guys, let's rock. That was so much fun. Yes. So, I'm John Waldman. I film Brims of Tradition. The most difficult thing, I would say, was running sound by myself. Rich was the main character of our documentary, and Love was his mentor. And I was like, we gotta get a shot with Love in here, the Hasidic Jewish guy with the strimals and everything. And that was like the last scene, and it took so long to just find him and get done. And shout out to Adam Nino, he's over there. He made it happen. I got a text from Rich, he's like, yo, Love is coming over. And I was busy working on some corporate shoot. I'm like, Adam, you gotta go there, man. So I would say that was the hardest part, honestly.
I would have to agree, and I think something that was very important in your film, you mentioned legacy several times, and I even think in the rest of you filmmakers, legacy is also a part of that as well.
Yeah.
History and having a connection.
100%.
So thank you for that, and thank you for the wonderful shots there with your difficult situation.
Yeah, no doubt.
It came across very well.
Everything here, this is gonna live forever. Actually, I think of a quote in our movie that Rich says, created something out of thin air, it's going to live on forever. And that kind of reminds me of how, the whole thing kind of started. I met Rich out at, was that like The Woods, this like club in Williamsburg. I don't know if you've ever been there. It was a couple years ago. I see Rich talking to a couple of my buddies, and I'm like, that hat looks really cool. Let me go shimmy over there. And he was talking to some of my friends. I'm like, yo, what's up, man? Like, that's a sick hat. He's like, oh, thanks, man. I made it. And then I'm like, oh, and it was like in a time where, like business, everything was really good, shooting all this corpus up, but I feel like my creative juices were not flowing. And I was like, I want to do a passion project, but I didn't know quite what that meant. And then I was like, I want to make your film. And then here we are a couple years later, out of thin air, we made the film, and now we're here. And yeah, man.
That's how it goes.
Hell yeah.
Tell the story.
So last week, the documentary screened. It went really well. It was one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of. So many good filmmakers, met a bunch of people. It was really just, this kind of awesome, wholesome night. Had a bunch of friends, a bunch of families, got up on the panel afterward, which was cool. Yeah, I'm honestly inspired to make more films. I already have ideas for my next doc. I love documentary filmmaking. And yeah, so I'm happy I waited to record this, I guess, after. So if you I've noticed I have a little mist filter on here that's from Freewell. Thank you guys. All these cameras could use a little mist filter. Blooms the highlights, softens the skin, gives it a bit more of a look, especially with an action camera, which by nature isn't necessarily the greatest camera. It's only like $20. And on a side note, I freaking love the Action 5. I might actually do a video just talking. I also have an Insta360 Go 3S Pro or whatever. Different tools, different things. There's things I like about both. Actually, there's nothing I dislike about the Action 5. There's stuff about the Insta360. Anyways, might do an action camera video. Filters are the name of the game. Do it in camera. None of this, let's bloom it in post. Just give your stuff a look in camera. Stop with this not to say I don't use stuff in post, but I don't know. It's my recommendation. Thanks, guys. This thing is sick.
little mist filter action. Shout out Freewell.